We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. They always have been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been getting bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekdaily morning show where we bring you the latest in everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about how a massive rally is right around the corner as the Securities and Exchange Commission, NYSE, NASDAQ, and everybody in Wall Street prepares for the Blackrock Bitcoin ETF spot approval. I do believe that we're going to be seeing an approval very soon, potentially before the January 10th deadline for the ARK21 shares ETF application. And I do believe as well that we're going to see a huge rally in Bitcoin after those approvals do come in. For many reasons, I believe that we are going to be seeing an approval, and I also believe that we're going to be seeing a massive rally on many of our favorite cryptocurrencies. For now, though, many of them are in major retracements, meaning that we have excellent opportunities to invest in these smaller cap cryptocurrencies in the top 10, in the top 20, top 30, top 100, and I also believe that if we have not already started our dollar cost averaging journey for the 2024-2025 bull market, that it's not too late, and we can start right now today, and we can make a lot of money in the upcoming market. My name is Jeb McAfee, also known as Crypto Jeb. I've been working on this YouTube channel for over 6 years now, doing technical analysis on cryptocurrency markets for over half a decade, and I love what I do because I love being able to look at the price action of a chart and have an idea of what's going on in the market so that I can see what all the future scenarios are, prepare for each one of them, and then find some way to profit in each one of those scenarios. That's what I do for a living, and I'm really excited to do that with all of you guys today. So let's go ahead and read some chat. Just got started. We've already got over 175 people watching. Yesterday was a 2-year record for viewership. Actually, it was probably about 18-month record for viewership. We had almost 1,600 people watching the live stream live yesterday. Nothing close to the all-time highs that we used to have back in the last bull market. We had over 8,000 people watching live on Coffee and Crypto at one point, but we're getting there. Market's heating back up. We got a lot of stuff coming. Climate of Crypto episode is coming out today that you are not going to want to miss, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and the post notification bell so you won't miss a single drop. Let's go ahead and read some names. We got to run through them quick. There's a bunch of you guys. Alex Nibo's in chat. Crypto Mini Bikes in chat. Marley120 Thirst is in chat. Christina Orozco in chat. Lewis H. Joe Bollier. David Trehan. Christina Orozco. Bernard Kale, Jason S., Ronald Davignon, that's a cool name. By the way, I hope I didn't just butcher Trehan. I hope I got that right. You'll have to tell me. Victor Sleeps, Dax Browdy, Joey Van Englenberg, Conrad Deneef, Word Turtle, Sean O'Brien, Word Turtle again, Token Trekker Crypto, Adam P., Ronald Davignon said, let's get after it, Jeb. Have a wonderful day. The French Toast Breakfast Club in chat. G. Gaiman, El Guio, Richard Jacobson, Crypto Mini Bike, Sean Sullivan, Grandmaster Roulette, Grand Roofing Incorporated. We got a couple of grand individuals here. One House Production said, corrections are good. Like the stream now. Agreed. Queen, Jason, Adam, Andre, Aaron, Livey, MM, Alex, Crypto Ohio, and Giannine Heath. Good morning to all of you, and of course, General Scarborough Scotty. Whew, man, there's a lot of you guys. Let's get started. We got a lot to cover. Right now, Bitcoin is trading at $43,677, $43,733. Change that in the middle of the sentence there. It's currently trading at $856 billion in market capitalization. And as you guys know, just a quick recap, we got 3 big things coming this year that are going to massively change the price of Bitcoin and the overall state of this market. First and foremost, we have a Bitcoin ETF, which I give a 99% likelihood will be approved in the year of 2024. May not happen in January. It could get kicked down the road, but I am almost certain, as close to certain as I possibly can be, while being responsible with my integrity, I am as close to as certain as I possibly can be that that ETF is going to be approved this year during this bull market cycle. I would be extremely surprised if it was not. I would also be relatively surprised if it wasn't approved in the next couple of days. That being said, it's not the only thing that's very bullish right now. We also have something very bullish is that I pronounced David Trahan's name correctly. Awesome. I was worried I was going to butcher that. Another thing that is very important this year coming up is, of course, the fact that the FOMC has paused interest rates. Let's not forget that the FOMC pausing interest rates leads the rest of the stock market into a massive rally. We have not seen that massive rally really break all-time high on S&P 500 just yet, but it's coming, and it's coming soon. S&P 500 is sitting up at all-time high. If we look at DJI, we're also looking at a very similar event. It's actually sitting just barely above all-time high. So massive runs coming in the stock market, which will likely lead to major runs in crypto as well. And of course, the third and final, but probably one of the most important fundamental developments coming this year is the Bitcoin halving. The reason that all of this is important and the way that this all ties in, because those are just three events, but how does it impact the price of Bitcoin? The way that these all impact the price of Bitcoin, to understand that, we also have to understand supply and demand economics. You've probably seen a supply and demand chart before. When the demand goes up, the price goes up. When the supply goes down, the price goes up. If the demand goes up and the supply goes down at the same time, the price goes parabolic. And the reason for that is very simple. If there is more demand for something and all of a sudden at the same time there is less of that thing, then the price is going to moonshot. And what we are going to see this year is a perfect storm of bullishness for this asset class. We have never seen anything happen like this before in the history of this entire market. Bitcoin turned 15 years old yesterday. It is 15 years and a day old, and this is going to be the best year of Bitcoin's life. We've got one wild teenage summer coming up, I suppose. The fact of the matter is the ETF is going to bring in so much more demand than Bitcoin has ever witnessed. It's going to open the doors for a flood of retail to come into cryptocurrency, and it's also going to open the doors for all kinds of asset managers that otherwise would not have been buying Bitcoin because they had no way to custody it. One of the big issues that we're looking at with Bitcoin adoption is that it's very difficult for a company to buy Bitcoin and actually report it, track it, pay taxes on it, be compliant with that purchase. If they have an ETF, it is far easier for major corporations to buy that Bitcoin ETF than to buy Bitcoin directly, because then they have to deal with custody. Custodying Bitcoin is a bit of a nightmare for a major corporation, because if you're buying $500 million worth of Bitcoin, who in the world are you going to ask to custody that? At the same time, it's still very unclear how to even track that and be compliant when you're a publicly traded company trying to buy a cryptocurrency commodity that doesn't really have any regulation and regulatory infrastructure built around it. So when the ETF comes online, it's going to be just as simple as buying any other stock that a company might invest in. That will open the door to retail and institutional purchasing of Bitcoin, the likes of which we have never seen before. That's the demand side of the equation. Supply side of the equation, the halving's coming up, meaning that we are going to see yet another supply shock on Bitcoin. Right now, we are looking at 19.5 million Bitcoin. That is 93.28% of the total supply that Bitcoin will ever witness. Right now, we are seeing 6.25 Bitcoin per block. Whenever we mine a block, that's about to go down to 3.125 Bitcoin per block, which is going to cause the supply increase every 10 minutes of Bitcoin to be cut in half, which means that on the supply increase side of things, which is a subset of the supply, on the supply increase of things, also known as the inflation of Bitcoin is going to be cut in half, meaning that the supply side of the equation is cut in half. So we have the demand side of the equation more than likely more than doubling, and you have the supply side of Bitcoin, at least the inflation side of the supply side, being cut in half. What does that lead to? Probably a 4x or more on Bitcoin. We're looking at $160,000 to $200,000 Bitcoin this bull market, which drives the rest of the cryptocurrency space into a massive bull market. But that's not the only part of the equation, because supply and demand economics are not the only things that impact the price of an asset. The other thing that impacts the supply of the price of an asset has to do with the environment that that asset resides in. If you have a certain stock where its supply goes down for some reason, maybe somebody buys up 25% of the stock, so only 75% of it is still circulating, and you at the same time see the demand skyrocket because it hit it really big in the news, that's great, and that stock's probably going to go up considerably, but now combine it with an extremely powerful bull market in the overall global economy, or at least in the United States economy. That stock is going to go vertical. And with the FOMC pausing interest rates being the third and final piece of the trifecta, not only is Bitcoin seeing a demand side shock, it is also seeing a supply side shock, and the environment upon which Bitcoin is building this bull market is going into one of the most bullish environments that a Bitcoin bull market could ever hope to have. We are about to see a massive explosion in stocks. When we see that massive explosion in stocks, Bitcoin is positively correlated because when you see the stock market at all-time high, it allows for investors to become more risk on. They are no longer as risk averse, they are more risk tolerant, and so they're more likely to go into what they perceive to be a risky asset class like Bitcoin. And by the way, they're already investing in the stock market on their brokerage accounts. Now they just have to go to the subset where it says crypto and buy the spot ETF. It's 3 clicks away for people that are already excited about investing. They're already in a risk on environment. They've already known about Bitcoin for a decade. They just didn't either have the tools to buy into it, or they didn't have the wherewithal to know how to buy into it without it being on a brokerage account. This is insanely bullish. This year is going to be the biggest year that Bitcoin has ever witnessed, period. And I do believe that you'll see Bitcoin well over $100,000 by the end of this year. The most viewed video on this channel is in 2021 when I said that somebody else was wrong and we will not see $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2021. Right now, I believe 100K Bitcoin by the end of this year is basically inevitable if we have the Blackrock ETF approved. Those other 2 variables, FOMC pausing interest rates and bringing interest rates down by 50 to 75 basis points this year, that's basically assured, unless some kind of black swan event happens like a major war or a pandemic or something. The Bitcoin halving is on schedule. It's not going to change. It can't change. Nobody can change it. That's coming. There's only one part of that 3-part equation that even can change, and that's the ETF being denied, but that's not going to happen because Gary Gensler knows what's good for him. So let's talk a little bit about how we can prepare for this and talk a little bit about the cryptocurrency market as a whole. Right now, Bitcoin trading at $43,700. It is still up 2.58% in the last 7 days. Bitcoin moonshot, then Matrix Ports report came in, scammed everybody, and Bitcoin went through a major crash, but Bitcoin is recovering well. We'll look at that in a moment. Right now, Ethereum is down 4.23% in the last 7 days. It did not fare as well on the Matrix Port report, but it is still worth over $250 billion. So Ethereum is doing very well. Something you have to remember about Ethereum is that it may be slower. It may have higher gas fees. It may be a little bit technologically inferior to some of its competitors, but it has one thing that none of them have. It has clearance as a commodity from the United States regulators. Nobody is coming after Ethereum as a security, and it's likely that no one ever will. That kind of regulatory acceptance is worth its weight in gold. I do have my concerns about Ethereum, obviously, but I think for that reason, and many other reasons, but mainly that reason, Ethereum is not going anywhere. Ethereum is also the only other cryptocurrency besides Bitcoin to have an ETF in waiting for approval right now. Those are all big steps for ETH. Binance down 2% in the last 7 days. Solana up 2% in the last 7 days. XRP down 733 in the last 7 days. That right there just tells me that I want to purchase some this Friday when I do my dollar cost averaging. Cardano down to 57 cents. It's down 7.6% in the last 7 days. Nothing really concerning there. Something we need to keep in mind is that the altcoins follow the Bitcoin market. And so with Bitcoin going through this corrective movement, the altcoins corrected even farther. This could be 2 things. Number 1, this could be an indication of a larger correction. Number 2, it also could just be that the altcoins were overextended, needed a break. In this news, the Matrix Port dropped. This note that Matrix Port dropped yesterday was just what it took to cause the market to drop on these altcoins. I see this as a buying opportunity, not as a reason to be concerned for these altcoins. I believe that they're going to do very, very well in the course of the 2024-2025 bull market. Now, guys, if you are enjoying today's stream, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, but don't forget that there is a very important part of your success in cryptocurrency that you should not neglect, and it's right there. It's called NordVPN, and the reason that it is so important for you to sign up for NordVPN is for a little under $200, you can get a 2-year plan and protect yourself from hackers, from phishing attempts, from scams, from all kinds of different ways that people are going to try and steal your cryptocurrency for the entire bull market. Like $200. You can get a 2-year plan today, cover yourself for the entire bull market, and keep yourself safe and browse the internet safely and freely at the same time. Not only do you have the ability to browse the internet safely and be much safer from hackers, you also have the ability to browse the internet freely and go where you like so that you're not being told what to do by your government. Maybe you're in a country where your government tries to tell you you can't go on this website or you can't go on that website. NordVPN is going to help you with that. Maybe you are in a predicament where you keep getting hacked. Something keeps happening and you're not sure what it is. NordVPN is going to help lock down your internet connection so that it is much more difficult to get into your stuff. That doesn't mean that you can be irresponsible like the dude from LifeLock that put a social security number up everywhere, and Social Security came by and said, bro, you have no idea how much of a headache you're giving us. Please stop this right now. I'm not saying you do that, but I am saying that if you are responsible with your finances and you're responsible with your passwords and everything, NordVPN is going to help keep you safe. So make sure to sign up with the link in the description box down below. All right. Let's go ahead and jump on to some Bitcoin analysis, though, because Bitcoin is doing very well right now. I was very excited yesterday when Bitcoin held on to our long-term uptrending level of support. We have talked about how a bottom between $36,000 to $38,000 is possible. That is what we consider to be our major support zone right now beneath us. Is it possible we go there? Yes. Do I think that's what's going to happen? No. I believe that Bitcoin is going to be able to hold this support, and this Matrix Port report is just a thorn in the side of the average investor. Knocked out $600 million worth of longs yesterday that, to be honest with you, were over-leveraged and probably didn't have stop losses, or else they wouldn't have gotten liquidated. So note to any of my traders out there, it's okay to use leverage. Use it wisely and use stop losses, all right? Just be careful. Practice safe trading. Let's put that out there. Bitcoin right now is trading at nearly $44,000, going through a major recovery because most people have finally realized in the last 48 hours, okay, there's literally nothing new about the Matrix Port news. It's just them saying, oh, this could happen. And don't get me wrong, we need to talk about different scenarios and analyze different scenarios that can come to pass. But we also need to be careful about just buying hook, line, and sinker into anything that we see. We need to actually do the analysis on our own. And right now, much of the bullishness that Bitcoin had 3 days ago that led us through this original January 1st rally is still there. We just had forgotten about it because of the massive long squeeze. Bitcoin is starting to recover here. We did bounce and hold off of this long-term uptrending level of support that we have said is so important. If you do not believe in technical analysis, I am here to tell you, you should. And the reason that you should is because it works. Over the course of the last year, we have had this uptrend right here define pretty much all of our market action. Just about everything that has happened in Bitcoin over the last year has been predicated around this uptrending level of support. It is so very important that it is actually the level of support that we have bounced off of recently. You can see it's the only uptrending level of support. It's the only line on my chart this color, so it's easy to track. I made it a different color so that it will stand out. We've been following what this uptrending level of support and resistance has said for the last 2 months, and it is either green or yellow. I still have yet to find out because I'm colorblind. Many of you guys have told me it's yellow. Some of you have told me it's green. It's kind of a running joke. I have no idea. I genuinely have no clue. I've got no idea. Feel free to make fun of me in the chat. People have been making fun of me for being colorblind for years. It's funny. When you find out you're colorblind and somebody finds out you're colorblind, the first question they ask you, what color is my shirt? And I get that question so many times. You know what I say? I just say the exact opposite color just to screw with them. If somebody's wearing a green shirt and they say, what color is my shirt? I'll just very, very confidently go, oh, it's purple. And they think it's funny, right? And they start snickering with all their friends. I'm like, oh yeah, it's purple. And they think it's hilarious. I'm like, no, it's green. I don't see in black and white, okay? I can see some colors. Side note, I just thought that was funny. Anyway, Bitcoin's bouncing off of our green or yellow, whichever line. You guys are tricking me. One of it is either green or yellow. But we are bouncing off of that line, and Bitcoin is moving up towards resistance. Now, there's a line also that I want to show you, and it would be this line right there. Boom. Bitcoin is attempting to get above this downtrending level of resistance here. If Bitcoin is able to break above this downtrending level of resistance, which we will go ahead and turn red or green or fuchsia, whichever color, then we will likely see quite a lot of bullishness coming in. We have kind of broken above it so far, but not really gotten above it with a lot of confirmation. So I want to see how this market plays out over the next couple of days. Right now, the major resistance zone that I'm looking at is basically the resistance zone here between 44.3 and 44.7. Bitcoin needs to break through this resistance zone because it is essentially the local high that we're looking at. One thing that is encouraging is that VRVP is basically all beneath us right now. On VRVP, the visible range volume profile, my wife just texted me and said it's yellow. Thank you, sweetheart. She's watching the stream. Man, now I know it's yellow. Thanks, sweetheart. I appreciate that. I'll have to change it. Here we go. Here, keep the joke running. Let's just, boom. There we go. Now, see, I know what all these colors are. Here we go. Boom, yellow. We'll just leave it as yellow. All right, right now, Bitcoin is above the point of control. This red line right here represents, right there represents the majority of the trading that we have seen on the overall, that represents where the majority of the trading has taken place and the majority of the volumetric trading has taken place on our current screen. Visible range means that the volume profile is representing everything that is visible right now, and being above that point of control indicates that we are on the bullish side of things. We have gotten above most of our resistance, and that is wonderful. Queen says, Sarah, he loves this pen. Yes, I love this pen. Thank you very much, my wifey that got me that. Bitcoin is above that downtrending level of resistance ever so slightly right now, and it's above the point of control, which indicates that it's starting to get into very bullish territory. Looking at our indicators down here on the hourly chart, we've got uptrending MACD, we got uptrending RSI. That is phenomenal. I guarantee you that Lux Algo is going to be bullish. Yep, we've got a buy signal coming in just very recently, though. I was close with that guarantee. Buy signal came in just a couple of hours ago. We do not have trend catcher confirmation yet, but even without trend catcher confirmation, take profit sitting between $44,200 and $45,000. That is a very exciting take profit, because if we get up there even into the middle point of that take profit, then we're going to be able to see Bitcoin hitting its take profit. And if it hits that take profit, we're likely at the same time going to see a trend catcher green, and trend catcher turning green along with hitting that take profit will give us a new take profit. Hopefully you're following with me here. This might be a little bit convoluted. If we get up here into the take profit, we'll see trend catcher turn green because we'll be high enough. Then we will reset the take profit. The take profit will probably move up here, and that will give Bitcoin the strength that it needs to move back to $45,600, which is our local high. So we shall see what takes place there, but I think that it will end up becoming a very strong rally on Bitcoin. But we also want to get some more perspective from the longer-term time frames. Out here on the 4-hourly chart, we've got a little bit more perspective that we need to pay attention to. We do have a confirmed sell signal right now, and have for a little while here. This confirmed sell signal is going to need to be, I'm sorry, it's not confirmed. That was a different red line. It is still a confirmed buy signal, but we do have a sell signal that is not confirmed. But if we are able to go a little bit higher, we'll have a buy signal coming in on Lux Algo, which will give us bullishness once again. And we've got MACD starting to converge bullish on itself, uptrending RSI starting to move bullish on itself. All of these are very good signs. But we want to give it a few more hours for the 4-hourly chart to play out. On the 8-hourly chart, we do have some bearish convergence, but it's reversing very nicely. Confirmed buy signal, and the buy signal take profit is sitting up here between 45.8 and 47.5, which would be absolutely wonderful. Looking at the daily chart, we've also got the MACD and the RSI looking phenomenal. They were already on track to go through major convergences and bullish breakouts, and then the Matrix Port report came out, dropped Bitcoin, threw a monkey wrench in things. It's really kind of funny to me that it happened at the time that it did, because Bitcoin was in the very process of going through a huge breakout, and then boom, just like that, FUD. I do wonder if it was market manipulation. I do wonder if it was manipulated. Yesterday, I made it very clear that I cannot ascribe motive to Matrix Port for what they did. At the end of the day, all they did was put out a note that contradicted the note they put out the day before. And, you know, people make mistakes. But the timing is very, very interesting, because you can see here on the MACD and the RSI how bullish things were, how things were about to go through a huge bullish breakout, how RSI was on track to do that. And then it got thwarted because of one red candlestick on the daily chart. I believe that if we are able to maintain our bullishness over the course of the next couple of days, that we'll actually see that bullish cross anyway. But it does really make me wonder if somebody was pulling the strings behind the scenes. Have you ever heard of Matrix Port? I haven't either. Some reason, though, everybody wanted to talk about them. And I do hear whisperings that they had some kind of vested interest in an ETF over in Hong Kong. Don't know too much about that, but I have heard some things in that regard. Now, we do have a buy signal confirmed on daily chart. Daily chart's where I look at Lux Algo the most, because that's where the majority of traders are looking at it. Take profit right now sitting between 46.5 and 49.2. I think the Bitcoin could push all the way up to $50,000, and so we're very excited about that. So we will stay tuned to see how that goes. We've got a lot of volume coming in on the daily chart. Big green, big red, but ultimately, we still have all of our indicators continuing to move to the upside. The longer we trade sideways up here, the more we establish support in this region, and the stronger of a floor we'll be setting at $44,000. So nothing to be concerned about. Right now, we do expect that Bitcoin will continue into its rally over the course of the next few days, contingent upon a Bitcoin ETF approval. Should the ETF be denied, then we very well may see a corrective movement continue from there. Now, I am also going to be talking about We are also going to be talking about some altcoins here in just a minute, but I do want to let you guys know that it's very important that you understand how to do technical analysis moving into the future of this bull market. This bull market is coming, it is coming in full force, and if you are not ready with an education in technical analysis, then you are going to get left behind in some regards. I'm going to show you a way that you can invest in the cryptocurrency market, but the way that you pick the coins, that you invest in, has everything to do with technical analysis. Technical analysis is the art and the science of reading what the price is telling you. It's about reading indicators. It's about reading the chart just the same way that we were just doing. It's about figuring out how strong are the bulls? How strong are the bears? What resistance are we looking at? What support are we looking at? It's all about trying to figure out where the market's going to go and with what likelihood that's going to happen. And then, most importantly, making a plan for how to trade or invest in that market based off of your understanding of that market. It is absolutely essential for you to know technical analysis. It's a little bit like a heart surgeon going to school for heart surgery. It's a little bit like a mechanic knowing how to, work on a car. You need to invest in your education in technical analysis to be successful in trading and investing. It is not, in my opinion, something that you can just neglect and expect to be successful in. So my encouragement to you today is to sign up for the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy with the link in the description box down below. You can sign up for a lifetime access right here or for our annual subscription and get access to all of our content for a year. There is more content coming. Stay tuned for that. We have over 45 videos and over 10 hours of high-quality educational content here that will help you to learn how to become an expert technical analyst so that you know how to read the charts and you know how to invest and trade in them profitably. And one of the biggest questions I get asked is, Jeb, how am I going to fit this into my busy schedule? Well, the good news about CT2A is that it was designed with that in mind. I taught myself technical analysis, and golly, I wish I could go back in time and give myself CT2A, because I spent a couple tens of thousands of hours learning technical analysis the long way, the hard way. And what I did is I condensed all that down into a 10-hour course. So if you ask yourself, Jeb, where am I going to find 10 hours? Well, I believe that it's a necessity for you to learn technical analysis. So where are you going to find the 10,000 hours to go and teach yourself this? I believe that I can teach you the vast majority of the important stuff in technical analysis in a very short package. If you go through this 1 hour a week for 10 weeks, you are going to be a proficient technical analyst and know how to make proper investments with the thousands of dollars you're slinging around. So please make sure that you have invested in an education so you are being educated in how you wield those tools. Because the last thing I want is a heart surgeon that does not know how to hold a scalpel, that does not know how to, properly direct his anesthesiologist to sedate me. I want to make sure that my plumber actually knows how to change the pipes that he's trying to work on. I want to know that they're not going to do more damage than they're actually going to help. And in the same way, your wife, your husband, your children, your parents, your community, the people that you're trying to help with your finances, they don't want to find out that your investment in cryptocurrency actually did more damage than if you had just kept your money out of the market in the first place. They want to know that you know what you're doing. You want to know that you know what you're doing. And that's why I packaged it in a nice, neat, concise form where for about an hour a week, for about 10 to 12 weeks, you can learn what you need to know about technical analysis and be ready for this bull market. Let's check out CT2A, links in the description box down below. All right, let's talk about altcoins. Guys, one of the ways that you're going to make a lot of money in cryptocurrency in 2024 is through investment in altcoins. And give me a second while I plug my laptop in because I forgot to do that. There we go. One of the ways that you're going to make a lot of money in 2024 is with altcoins. And what I mean by that is that there are basically 3 different categories of investment that you need to pay attention to. And we're going to actually be detailing this in more, detail in today's afternoon video. So make sure to stay tuned for that. That'll be coming up at 2 p.m. But there are 3 types of coins you can invest in: big cap, medium cap, small cap. Definitions: big cap coins. Those are the cryptocurrencies as follows: Bitcoin and ETH. People define these differently. I'm defining big cap as Bitcoin and ETH. Why? Well, they stand in a league of their own where they're both classified as commodities. They both have ETFs coming for them that will almost certainly be approved. Bitcoin's almost certainly be approved this year. Ethereum's may take a few more years, but they're coming. The applications are out there. They're not going to be denied forever. It's going to happen eventually. And they're both the alphas of the 2 largest sectors of the cryptocurrency space. Bitcoin is the alpha and the only contender for the throne of hedged inflation investing. It is the only contender. Nobody even comes close. The next asset that comes anywhere near what Bitcoin can do in that narrative is way down CoinMarketCap. Ethereum's got a lot more competitors, but nobody comes close once again. Binance Smart Chain, which you would consider to be its largest competitor, is worth less than 20% of Ethereum. You combine all of Ethereum's competitors, and they are still not worth as much as Ethereum is on its own. It's got its problems, but it's still dominant. If you were going to invest in the cryptocurrency market and you only do one thing, make sure you buy Bitcoin and ETH and do it on a weekly basis. All right? After that, we got our medium caps. Medium caps are everything below Ethereum, above roughly rank 40. These are cryptocurrencies that were here during the last bull market, that were successful during the last bull market, set a major all-time high, went through a major correction during the bear market, but we have a couple of things going for them, and I'll give you some examples here. Let's take Uniswap for an example. They have strong fundamentals, And if it's a certain project like Uniswap where you can track the fundamentals, then great. Do they have strong fundamentals? Uniswap, it's a DEX. What's its volume? Number one. It is the number one largest DEX on Ethereum, and its Arbitrum version is the number 3 largest DEX. By the way, Arbitrum is a pretty solid project. You should look into that. It is a great project to buy. Yes, it might not have the largest returns of any of the DEXs, but it is almost certainly going to have a huge return this bull market. Some people are knocking on Uniswap thinking, oh, it's not going to do that great. Well, here's the deal. Last bull market, Uniswap went to a price of $40. Right now it's at $6. That's about an 8x to return back to all-time high. Market capitalization has not changed, circulating supply has not changed so much that is unrealistic. 60% is out in circulating supply. Uniswap is a great example of what I mean by a medium cap that was here in the last bull market, set a major all-time high, survived the bear market, still has strong fundamentals. Another example would be Cardano. A lot of things being built on Cardano. Its TVL last year increased by 5 times. Over nearly 80% of its max supply is already here, so it's not going to go through a massive inflationary cycle like some of these smaller cap altcoins will. To that note, the market capitalization chart looks just about the same as price action chart, so that's wonderful. It's going through a big rally. It's more than doubled in the last 3 months, indicating that the community is getting excited about it. Great example of a medium cap. Solana is another great example. Chainlink, Polygon, Litecoin, Stellar, these are all great examples as well. Keep a sizable percentage of your portfolio in these coins. Hold on to them for a time. Now, you've also got your smaller caps. A good example of a small cap altcoin is one that was probably not here during the last bull market, so it doesn't have a previous all-time high to speak of, but it's got strong fundamentals. Kaspa is one that I am very excited to be getting into. It already has 77.3% of its max supply out in the ecosystem. Fully diluted market cap is $3 billion. Its current market capitalization is 2.7. That's not that big of a difference. Going through a major rally, it's got a strong following. Almost 200,000 followers over here. As you can see, 191,500 followers. Has a strong narrative that it's going after. You can see that if you go to Kaspa's website, they are basically trying to fulfill Satoshi's vision of a peer-to-peer, cashless, and permissionless, decentralized payment model, which Bitcoin was intended to be, but Bitcoin's just too slow and too big and cumbersome to really become that. Kaspa's trying to actually become what Litecoin set out to do, but Kaspa's actually doing it in a much smarter way. Litecoin just quadrupled the max supply and cut the block time in a quarter. That's not enough to really fulfill Satoshi's vision. Kaspa's doing a good job of that. So that's an altcoin that I would say is in the small caps. If you build out an investment portfolio with those three, mainly Bitcoin and ETH, probably about 50% of it in Bitcoin and ETH, 25% in each of the others, depending on your risk tolerance, and you buy that portfolio every Friday for the next 6 months with money that you can afford to lose, you will become very wealthy from that portfolio in about 12 months. This is something that I cannot guarantee. I cannot guarantee you future success, but I can tell you with a very high confidence that you will probably make at least 5x on that portfolio if you start that today. So if you want to be successful in cryptocurrency, make sure that you do a couple of things. Man, I keep fiddling with this pen and I just keep dropping on my laptop. If you want to be successful in cryptocurrency, do a couple of things. First of all, do that. It's not always that simple in crypto. Sometimes you got to figure out how to trade. Sometimes you got to figure out how to be patient for 3 years because the height of the bull market and the bear market's coming. Right now, it's about that simple. Buy those coins. Do it weekly with an amount of money you can afford to lose or at least not see for 24 months because it may take time for those altcoins to hit a high that you want to sell at. Print money. I mean, listen, guys. Bitcoin and ETH are likely to 5x. Many of the medium caps are likely to 5 or 10x. A lot of those small caps, if they succeed, are likely to 10x or more. You average that out, you're looking at a 5 to a 10x return on that portfolio, conservatively speaking, with a very simple plan in 2024. I believe that you can be very, very successful by doing that. Now, I do believe that we're about to see a massive rally coming into Bitcoin because of the Blackrock ETF. And the reason that I believe that that's about to happen is because, as I talked about earlier, the Blackrock ETF is going to bring more demand for Bitcoin than we have ever seen before in history. Bitcoin just turned 15 years old. It would make sense for a Blackrock ETF to be coming at this time because the market is so old. It is such an old market, Bitcoin. It is not a very new market yet. It is ready for mass adoption. It's a little bit like a 15-year-old ready to hit the road. You know, they're getting their permit. We're figuring out how this is all going to work out. It's really funny that Bitcoin, just by the years, has actually kind of gone through kind of like the childhood model. Like, it's about to turn, by the time Bitcoin's 18, it's ready to be on the main stage. It's ready to be out there on Wall Street. 3 years from now, Bitcoin's an ETF. It's probably worth $5 trillion, and the people that got in now, let's think about it like this. you're a I don't know football well enough to make this analogy, but I'm going to make the analogy anyway because I like making a fool of myself. You're one of the headhunters. You work for the NFL and you're trying to figure out who am I going to recruit? And you're going out here and you're looking at these kids that are between 15 and 19 and they're playing for high school or they're playing for college football. And whether you're in the NFL or you're in a college and you're trying to figure out which kid do I pick? Who do I pick? You find them at 15 years old. You make that bet then. They go on to win 3 NFL Super Bowls, right? That's what you're doing right now. You're picking the future GOAT if you're buying Bitcoin right now. You are a very wise investor, very, very lucky trader to be getting into Bitcoin right now. So make sure that you're building a portfolio. And by the way, many of these altcoins I'm going to cycle out of when we get I'm going to cycle out of many of these altcoins when we get to all-time high territories. Bitcoin, though, I'm probably not going to sell very much of. I don't think I'm ever going to sell much of my Bitcoin. I'm going to hold on to pretty much everything I have right now, and I've essentially taken my Bitcoin position out of the game as far as it concerns trading and short to medium term investment. I'm just not really playing that game with it. I'm holding it for the long run. I'm holding it for legacy. Bitcoin is such a big asset now that I'm going to accumulate as much as I can and hold on to it for decades. And most people are like that. And with Bitcoin leading the industry, and you've got tens of millions of people treating Bitcoin like that, that is a market that's going to be very successful. Now, let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin right now, because Bitcoin is starting to rally. It's currently trading at $44,200, erasing many of the losses that we saw yesterday. We saw huge liquidations. A lot of people got liquidated yesterday, but Bitcoin is in position right now to actually go through a major rally, hit that price target on Lux Algo. Look at Lux Algo, just knocking it out of the park. Look at this. We had the buy signal come in on Lux Algo at 7 a.m. this morning. 7 a.m. this morning. Had the buy signal come in at 7 a.m. Of course, when the candle closed, we got the take profit up at $44,200 to $45,000. This is what it looked like at 8 a.m. sharp this morning. Take profit came in, $44,200 to $45,000. Fast forward, what happens? We hit it. We've hit the take profit. Lux Algo is incredible. If you guys don't have Lux Algo, you should get it. Why? Well, it's going to tell you when an uptrend's starting. It's going to tell you when a downtrend's starting. And it's not only going to do that, it's also going to tell you where it's going to end, or at least where it's going to go to. That is all you need to make a trade. Okay, if you're a trader or if you're trying to understand what's going to happen next in the market, Lux Algo, I believe, is an essential component in your toolkit. Make sure to sign up for Lux Algo using the link in the description box down below. You'll get 30% off, and you're going to be very glad you did because you're going to be able to tell where the market's going next. And for everybody that signs up for Lux Algo using our code, when our very own Crypto Jeb Lux Algo technical indicator comes out, which is being developed as we speak, when that comes out, you are going to get exclusive access to this indicator. And this indicator, oh man, I cannot wait to have this. I'm seeing early renditions of it. I'm not a programmer, so I had the idea of what I want the indicator to be, and we've got some tech whizzes on this. Oh my goodness, these people are good. I can tell why Lux Algo works so well. He's got some of the best Sean has some of the best technical indicator developers on the planet working for him, and they're developing right now a Crypto Jeb Lux Algo technical indicator. I came up with the idea, kind of tossed it back and forth with them and worked with them on it. They're putting it together, and this thing is sick. I've got screenshots of it. I'm going to be able to play with it at some point relatively soon, I think. We don't have a launch date, ETA or anything for it yet. But what I do know is that when it launches, it will only be available to people that have signed up for Lux Algo using our code. So make sure that you sign up now, and when that comes out, you guys are going to get access to it, and I'm going to be showing it on stream because it's awesome. It's still in early development, but it is really cool. PJ Cornell just donated $5. Thank you so much for your donation, my friend. Bitcoin is so successful that even if the tech fails, they'll just airdrop the next thing to Bitcoin holders and call it BTC. Not exactly sure what you mean by that. Even if the tech fails, and Bitcoin is so successful that even if the tech fails, they just airdrop the next thing to BTC holders and call it. I don't know if that would work, to be clear, because you would have to get everybody to adopt it. But yeah, Bitcoin is extremely successful. Thank you so much for that donation, PJ Cornell. Feel free to clarify what you mean. I'm not sure what you were saying there. Patrick Azevedo said, which indicator? I probably just put way too much accent on that. Azevedo? I'm not sure. Which indicator? We're talking about Lux Algo, but Lux Algo is developing a Crypto Jeb indicator right now. Shadrach Frost said, Jeb, how will this work out for the folks who already have Lux Algo? Curious. If they are signed up with our coupon code, then they will be getting access to it. If they're not signed up with our coupon code, then I think that there's a way you can switch where it's under our affiliate link and then you would have access to it. I believe that's the way that that would work. I think what you would do is you would like switch, or you'd cancel and re-sign up or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. But if you signed up under our link, then you'll be getting access to it, is what I'm being told. I believe that that's the way that's going to work. Now, nothing's technically solidified, but that's what I believe is going to happen. Shadrach Frost said, I have no exit strategy for Bitcoin. Me neither. I'm going to sell pretty much everything at all-time high and write it back down again. That's pretty much what I'm going to do too. And that's why we keep having these bull market, bear market cycles, because people have that mentality. But many of these cryptocurrencies are starting to become more longer-term plays. Many people are starting to move in the same direction with Ethereum that they have moved in the direction of with Bitcoin, where they're not just going to sell it all at all-time high. They're going to hold on to some of it for 20 years. And as we start to see maturity in those smaller cap altcoins, and they start to do more of that, where they're like, I'm not just going to buy it for the bull market and sell it at all-time high, but I'm going to buy it for the bull market and hold it for 10 years, that's when you start to see the market smoothing out, and it starts to look a lot more like the S&P 500. We're going to start to see the bull market, bear market cycle go away over the next 10 to 20 years, to be clear, because there's a lot more maturity that needs to happen in the altcoins. Bitcoin is kind of there, but Bitcoin is not. But the altcoins are not there yet, but it's coming. Let's see. Celestia all-time high. Is Celestia at all-time high? I bet it is. I mean, it's a newer coin. Oh my goodness. Celestia is up 35% today. Woo! That's exciting. I have some Celestia. Very happy about that. Hadn't checked that today. Great. Cool. It broke out. Broke out of its trading range. Check this out. Celestia was trading up here between $12 and $15. Celestia is one of these medium cap coins that's kind of like somewhere in that gray area between medium and small cap. It's got some characteristics of medium cap, some characteristics of small cap. One of my concerns about Celestia, I will let you know, is that there is a huge cliff coming up where it's going to go from, I think, 155 million in circulating supply to like 400 million. It's about to have a huge inflationary event happen. I got to remember there's a place where I can show you that. But just be careful with that. After that, it's going to kind of be a little bit more chill. But this is kind of what I mean. I would consider this a small cap, even though it's worth, $2.5 billion. Its fully diluted market cap is $16.5 billion. Is it worth that? I don't know if it is just yet. All right, I own Celestia, but I'm interested in buying a lot more Celestia after that massive unlock. Huge unlocks coming up. I'm talking it's going to like double the supply or more. All right, let's go back to reading chat. I love interacting with you guys. Dude, look at Apex. Yes, Apex is doing very well too. Yes, Apex. I mean, guys, Apex Exchange, I've been telling you guys about Apex, and you should definitely get it. Look at Apex. Look at this. This is ridiculous. It's at $1.25. So, yeah, just stay tuned. I think a lot of big things are going to be coming to Apex. If you guys have not already signed up for Apex, we have a link down below. It is my favorite. It is my favorite decentralized exchange right now for leverage trading. You can sign up for Apex down below. It is brought to you by the team that brought you Bybit. It is a great place to start leverage trading with self-custody because it's a decentralized exchange. You can work here in the United States. You're going to get access to all of the leverage that you could ever want. You're going to be safe in case something ever were to happen because it is a DEX. Now, I don't think anything ever will. I believe in the team behind Apex. I believe they're doing a great job. And I believe that it's going to be a very successful platform. It's got a lot of trading volume behind it. It is a newer exchange, but you can see over here on the DEXs that especially for a leverage trading exchange, it's doing relatively well, sitting at rank number 13 right now, $174 million in trading volume. Quite successful. I believe that I believe it's going to be a very successful contender here in the cryptocurrency space. So sign up for Apex if you haven't already. And I am looking into investing in some of the coin itself. The coin is still very, very, very early because it's still a very new exchange, but I'm interested in getting into some of it potentially. And yeah, it's doing very well. All right, let's read some more chat. Is ARB a good investment? I am looking into ARB. I'm not as familiar with it as I'd like to be, but I do hear very good things about Arbitrum. Arbitrum. I'm sorry, I keep saying Arbitrium. It's Arbitrum. I don't know why I can never pronounce the name of Arbitrum. One issue that I do have with it, and this is something that is stopping me from getting into it right now, is that its fully diluted market capitalization is so massive. I would consider this a small cap because it's got such a huge amount of total supply that is not unlocked yet. 1.275 billion in circulating supply, 10 billion total supply. That is concerning to me. I need to do more research on it before I buy any. I am thinking about getting some, but I want to look at the unlock schedule because that's a lot. I'm just going to be honest. That's a whole lot of, that's a whole lot. Now, if we go over to DeFiLlama.com, then we can go look at Arbitrum, and it is doing very well from what I know over here. We've got $2.5 billion in TVL over here. Very successful protocol right now. I am thinking about getting it for that reason. You've got some pretty big names over here. Uniswap's on Arbitrum. Aave V3's over here. Camelot Compound V3. GMX over here. Pretty big names are being built on Arbitrum right now. So I don't want to, I'm not trying to knock Arbitrum. I think it's going to be very successful. It's even got, it's got Cardano absolutely whooped. There's $400 million in TVL over here on Cardano. We've got $2.5 billion on Arbitrum compared to Ethereum where we've got $28 billion. But I do believe that it's going to be a very successful chain. And I want to look more into it because I think it's one that I'm probably going to be buying a good bit of here this Friday when we do our dollar cost averaging. I am concerned about it for different reasons, but I think it's going to be good. LimeWire did well last year. Yep. Haven't looked into it yet. Might look into it. Still get my feet wet on a lot of these different altcoins, but I think a lot of them are going to do very well. We need Pump It Up song. Pump it up. There you go. Whoa. Haven't joined this stream for a while, but what happened to the other guy? Oh, didn't read the rest of that before. Jeriun de Word. There was a, let's just say there were creative, what's the politically correct thing that you typically say when something like this happens? There were creative differences. And so we decided to go our own ways. They are doing their own thing, and I wish them the best. And we talk every once in a while, Tim and I do. And I'm excited for him. His channel's doing well, if you guys didn't know. So very excited for Tim. They're doing well. No hard feelings there. There were mistakes on both sides. I was not blameless in everything that happened. Neither was Tim, and Tim wouldn't say that he was himself. But everybody's doing well at this point. Everybody with the way that, as far as I'm aware, everybody's doing pretty well. So everything's good. Everybody just moved on to do their own thing. Changes were made, wink, Shadrach Frost said. Creative differences, I believe, is the politically correct term. We never got into it publicly, and we don't intend to because it's something that, like I said, people on both sides made mistakes, and there is forgiveness and there is grace because we are Christians, and that's the way that things ought to be handled. And Christians cover each other. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't repent of any mistakes, and I believe that there has been repentance on those things. And on my side too. Like I said, just because I kept the channel doesn't mean that I was blameless. I made some mistakes too. Queen said I only need Jeb. What about Turtle King? Smay Christian is doing pretty well from what I know. We've kept up. He and I are in contact every once in a while. I just texted him a few days ago. He's doing well for himself. He's happy. He's happy. All right, let's see. Smay's doing very well, actually. He goes by Christian now, but which is his actual name. But from what I know, he's doing very well. I'm very excited for what he's doing in his life. All right. Would you have an on-stream team again? Probably not for a very long time, and that's nothing against the former team because they were very good at what they did in some regards. There's obviously areas that everybody can grow. I think it would be a very, very, very long time before I had another setup like that, just because it's still a relatively small. Is Smay still in crypto? To my knowledge, yes, he's still working in the crypto space. Yeah. But as far as not working full time in the crypto space, but he does still do things in crypto, I think. But that's none of my business. And I haven't really asked him. But it's going to be a long time before I bring back on a multi-host format for the show again, because there's a very specific vision that we have that's going to take 20, 30, 40 years to fulfill, and it's way bigger than anything you guys are ever really told here. But we've got a very big vision. We've got a very, very, very big vision. And I believe we're going to be able to help tens or hundreds of millions of people. And that vision has never really gone away. It's changed forms a little bit here and there, but I believe that we're going to be able to help millions and millions and millions of people. And I believe this is going to be a multi-generational mission that if my children are interested, I'll be able to pass on to them. If they're not, I won't force anything on them. But I'm really excited to see what God has already done in our ministry and what he's going to continue to do. And I want to spend the next several years really ironing that out and getting on the right track and putting a lot of those pieces into place, because this is going to be much bigger than just a YouTube channel. This is going to be much bigger than just me. But it probably will just be me as the face of it for many years to come. But the vision of financial sovereignty, I believe, is something that will change the world. And I believe that it is something that will help millions of people to change their lives. And it is bigger than crypto. It involves crypto to a great degree, and it will always involve crypto to a great degree. And we will never neglect cryptocurrency, because cryptocurrency is where it started, and cryptocurrency is heavily in alignment with the concept of financial sovereignty. But the fact of the matter is, I believe that through financial education, I can help bring you freedom. And I believe that the things that I've learned in my life that has so changed my life, if I could pass them on to people that would be willing to hear them, it would change their life too. I have made millions of dollars in my life, and I've made a lot of mistakes with those millions of dollars. I've done a lot of things right to earn those millions of dollars. And I'll tell you what, it does a very interesting thing to somebody when they're 19, when they're 20 years old and they make their first $1 million. It does something very interesting to them. It's a very strange thing that happened. I have a very different outlook on money than most people do. It's not a greedy one. I don't care about the money. What I will tell you is that the things I've done right, the mistakes that I've made, there's a lot of wisdom in it that I have been able to glean that I want to share with you. And I believe that I can change people's lives. I believe that by preaching the things that I have learned, that these lessons can change your life. I'm just the megaphone for them. That if people would listen to them, their lives would be changed. And so we're going to talk a lot about crypto, but we're also going to talk about financial sovereignty. And I'm going to show you guys how to make life-changing wealth and make life-changing financial changes to your life. Believe it or not, that was a coherent sentence. You might just have to listen to it a second time. I believe that I can help a lot of people. This channel has already gotten over 26 million views in the last 6 years. We've helped tens of thousands, honestly, hundreds of thousands, probably millions of people change their life financially. And I believe that that can be hundreds of millions of people. I believe that we can build a megaphone for the ideas and the principles and the teaching that we have learned over the last 6 years and impact millions of people's lives. This is much bigger than YouTube. This is much bigger than crypto. This is something that can change the way that people interact with money, and it would change the way that their lives operate. And I believe that I can help a lot of people with that. Ultimately, not because of anything I know, but because of the things that I have learned. Queen said financial sovereignty or nada. I believe that financial sovereignty will be a household phrasing by my death, by the time I die. If the world's still around by then, I believe that just like you hear financial freedom all the time, it's on bumper stickers, it's everywhere. I believe the phrase financial sovereignty will be a globally used phrase that will change the way that people's lives operate if they would follow its tenets. All right. PJ Cornell said, money is energy and we are conductors. If you, as a conductor, can handle the charge, then even if you lose everything, you can still get it back. If you get more than you can handle, it breaks you. That's right. And so we've got to get form correct. We've got to be on point with our form. Because if you don't have your form right, I can give you $1 million and it's going to shatter you. And I'll tell you what, there are a lot of things that I was not ready for to be making $30, $50, $80, $100,000 a month when that started. And in a lot of ways, it did break me. There's a lot of ways where I got complacent and I didn't have the work ethic I needed. I didn't have the structure I needed. And there's been a lot of times that I've had to be humbled. And there's a lot of things that have humbled me. And I think I have a perspective on things that is different from most. And you guys will hear more about that story as the years go on. But I am excited to share all of that with you. Xenodermis said, at CryptoJeb. Hi, Xenodermis. How are you? Pete Schwartz said, form. Yes, you got to have your form right. It's all about form and focus and wisdom. It's about those things. Guys, massive bull market's coming. Let's get back down to brass tacks. Massive bull market's coming. If you do the right things, you're going to make a lot of money. If you do the wrong things, you're not going to make much money at all. In fact, you might even end up losing more money than you put in. You might make some money, and then you might end up losing all of that. If you set up your investments correctly, if you look at finances through the correct lens, if you do this right, there is life-changing wealth awaiting you, this bull market. If you do this wrong, you might kick yourself for the rest of your life. And you might have to learn a lesson the hard way. You know, there's something I tell my son I tell him, Malachi, he's 3. I tell him, Malachi, there are 2 ways to learn patience. You can learn it now, or you can learn it through suffering. But one way or the other, you're going to have to learn to be patient. Same thing with financial sovereignty and with what it takes to become successful in the cryptocurrency space, successful in investment, successful with finances in general. You can either learn it now and you can apply it now, or you can suffer until you have learned it. I believe very, very, very firmly in what the Bible talks about when it says, speak the truth in love. I love you, and I will be as kind and gentle as I can be. But I will also tell you the truth straight up because you need to hear it. And this is the way that I want to be spoken to, so this is the way I'm going to speak to you. If I'm wrong on something, I want you to tell me, Jeb, I love you. You're wrong here, and you might want to consider doing it this way because it's going to make your life better. In the same way, there are certain practices that you need to employ, and if you employ them, your life will be better. You will be more successful for it. If you don't, you will suffer. Cutting up credit cards that you can't afford. That's something that you will suffer until you do that. Having a budget and knowing where your money goes. You can do that or you will suffer. It's just the way the world works, my friends. Making an investment in cryptocurrency. You can do that or I think you will regret it. You don't have to. There are a lot of ways to make investments, but investing as a principle, you can do it or you will regret it. Being prudent about where you put your money. You can do that or you can suffer. I don't want you to suffer. I want you to succeed. I want blessings for you. I have good plans for you. I want you to be successful. But there's only really one way to success, and it is a very narrow path, and it is by following the way that the Bible says that finances ought to be handled. And so if you're very careful, and if you're very wise, you can make life-changing wealth, and then you can use that wealth, and more importantly, what you learned along the way to making that life-changing wealth to change the lives of others with your wealth. But if you are not interested, if you are not willing to adopt wisdom with your finances, you will regret it. And I don't like telling people this sometimes, but at the same time I do. There are certain things that you will do or you will be on your deathbed and wish you had have done. And one of them is being wise with your money. And being wise with your money does not mean that you have to invest in exactly what I think is the best investment. It does not mean that you have to do exactly what Jeb McAfee says. It does not mean that you have to buy my course. It does not mean that you have to sign up for Lux Algo. What it does mean is you need to be wise. And wisdom may lead you in the direction of CT2A. If you, in your wisdom, decide that is an area where I think I can learn, and I believe you can, but if you think you can learn better somewhere else, then you've got to follow your own journey. There's no skin off my back if you don't sign up for CT2A. It's just a resource that's there if you want it. There's no skin off my back if you don't sign up for Lux Algo, but I think it's a wise investment because it's going to help you make better trades. If you don't sign up for it, that's okay. You got your own journey. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not trying to control your life. But make sure that you are doing what you can do in wisdom, and make sure that you are studying wisdom every day. Let me see if I can pronounce this correctly. Empleado, PH. Did I get that right? Empleado? It's a cool name. Hopefully I got that right. Is it okay to take loans to invest in crypto? Get ready for this chance of a lifetime bull run? Question mark. I would recommend against that. Depends on the loan. The problem is right now, one of the problems is right now, the Bible says, and you've heard this plenty of times from your boy Dave Ramsey, and he's just quoting the Bible, the borrower is slave to the lender. And then just after that in Proverbs, it talks about how you should run from surety and suretyship as a roe running from a hunter. You should run from it. You should run from debt because you are under the control of someone else. And with the pen stroke, they have you under bondage. What happens if that doesn't actually play out? What happens if you end up taking out a $100,000 loan or a $10,000 loan or a $5,000 loan or a $50,000 loan or a $500,000 loan and you invest in Bitcoin and tomorrow the Bitcoin ETF gets denied, the Bitcoin drops down to $32,000, which is very possible, and you get fired from your job that you were using to pay for the interest on that loan. The interest on the loan, you're probably going to end up paying as much on interest as you are on principal if you take out a 5-year loan. So you're going to have Bitcoin to double just to make sure that you're able to pay for the interest that you paid on the loan. What I will say is if you got a 3.5% mortgage, I'm not going to jump down your throat if you take a pause on like aggressively trying to pay that off and put some more money towards cryptocurrency, because you're probably going to be able to make more than 3.5% in crypto. But should you go and take out new debt to buy crypto? No. I don't think you should. I don't think you should at all. What I think you ought to do instead is you ought to pay off the debt that you have, if you have any, and then use the extra money that you are putting towards that debt every month to buy cryptocurrency, to max out your Roth IRA, whatever it is. Be homeless, default on the loan, hold the Bitcoin. Not the way that works. You go bankrupt, they're taking that Bitcoin. Unfortunately, that's not the way that works. And you would be put in a position where you would have to lie to not actually give up the Bitcoin, because you would be that wouldn't quite work. It's a funny idea in principle, but the only way that would work is either it wouldn't work or you would have to do something unintegral. So I would not use debt to buy Bitcoin. I would highly recommend not doing that. There are ways that you can do it if you are highly skilled. Michael Saylor does that. Michael Saylor has been running a Fortune 500 company for 30 years. If anybody knows how to do it wisely, it's probably Michael Saylor. So just be careful about getting in over your head. Getting a loan for crypto applies the same as any investment in crypto. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Precisely. So it's my vision to help you guys become successful in cryptocurrency by teaching you technical analysis, by teaching you principles of investment, and by also teaching you wisdom, financial wisdom. Financial wisdom. I call it financial sovereignty, being in control over your finances, your monies, and over your money, your time, and your possession, rather than them controlling you. If you do those things, you will be successful. If you don't do those things, you will fail. So I'm just going to put the truth out there, and you guys can do what you want with it. If you adopt financial wisdom, if you adopt financial sovereignty, you will more than likely be successful. Now, there are times where you're called to give everything away. Jesus called the rich man to give every dime he had to the poor. And it wasn't so much that Jesus needed him to do that. It was to test his heart. He wouldn't do it. And that showed him he had an idol in his life, right? So we can be called to give everything to the poor and the homeless and the foreigner and the widow and the orphan. And that can happen. Normally, though, and that's a good thing. That's wonderful. You'll have treasures in heaven if you do that for the right reason and with the right heart. But generally speaking, if you follow financial sovereignty and you're not called to do that, and something crazy doesn't happen, black swans happen, but generally speaking, you're going to be in a much better position than you are now. If you don't, you will likely fail. So I just want to put the truth out there, let you guys do with it what you will, and I'm going to continue to teach you financial sovereignty, but I will also encourage you to go in this good book, read basically the book of Proverbs, and read the whole thing. But if you're trying to learn about finance, read the book of Proverbs, and it'll help you quite a lot. Empleado is employee in Filipino, language in the Philippines. Aha. I thought it meant employee in a different language. I didn't know what language though. Cool. Well, guys, we are going to go ahead and wrap it out. I really appreciate all of you for tuning in. If you did enjoy today's stream, consider hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned because more content is coming out in approximately 3 hours. Cannot wait for you guys to see today's Climate of Crypto episode. And also make sure that if you have not already signed up for NordVPN, that you do so with the link in the description box down below. Get a 2-year plan, cover yourself from hackers for the entire bull market, and do it all risk-free with a 30-day money-back refund guarantee if you decide that it is not for you. Also, make sure if you have not already, to sign up for the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. You can find the link for that right there. Before I go, though, guys, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.